So you want to master your life. Here's the problem with a lot of all this talk about mastery. I find that it's really difficult to bring across this topic without getting people riled up. They'll say, I can't do it, I'm not you, and so on. So that's fine. Let me share with you what I did in order to go from 85 kilograms down to 68 kilograms, and I'm still maintaining somewhere around 69 kilograms right now. And it's because of a certain kind of habit that I began to take on. So habitual processes are actually quite easy to develop. All you really need to understand is the way by which these processes happen, and you maintain a certain level of consistency. Now, I might say that right now and it's going to sound like it's just too simplistic, but bear with me, and through this video I'm going to share with you exactly how to build those processes so that you don't have to rely on discipline, you only need to rely on habit, because we all know that willpower is somewhat limited. So my journey might not be your journey, but I most certainly have helped a lot of people create that journey for themselves. So there are a few things that I had to do. I had to set up my environment. I had to make sure that the things that were around me were suitable. For example, at the start of COVID, when Singapore had a lockdown, it was impossible for me to go to a fitness outlet like a gym in order for me to get my workouts done. So what I did instead was I ordered a half rack into my house. It's a little bit cramped and my rack is just next to me. I can literally touch it right now, and I'll work out here. It's just one of those things that reduced the resistance of actually doing any kinds of workout, and it cut out any kind of excuse because it's really right here. All I need to do is step in there, I don't care, 15, 20 minutes, and get a few exercises done. Of course, typically I have an hour to an hour and a half worth of workouts so that I can actually have a good time and reset my brain myself. So having done things like that, I also needed to be quite clear in terms of the rituals, the behavioral patterns. So in many cases, people kind of lapse because they don't have the know-how of what to carry out. For example, if you didn't know anything about video editing, and you wanted to go and edit a video, usually you put on your to-do list, edit video, and then you try and schedule it, and then you never get it done. Have you ever wondered why? It's probably because of what your brain recognizes as the specific tasks that need to be executed. And I realized this when I got my gym rack. I realized that I didn't know exactly what workouts to do. So what happened was I went on YouTube, I went to Athlean-X, I went to Jeff Nippard, and I started taking a look at how they were working out, and I said, okay, this is interesting, there's some mechanics behind it, and I started modeling that using NLP, of course. And that's where I started to build out my own physical fitness routines, and as a result, I am where I am today. Now, knowing exactly what to do means I have 8 exercises. These 8 exercises are 3 sets or 4 sets depending on how advanced I am, and then I go at it. So exercise number 1, I finish it. There's a timer. By the time it's about 2 minutes, I'll go back to the second set, third set, and then I move on to the next exercise, first set, second set, third set. And I can see myself progressing through all of that. I'm pretty sure that those of you who've got a workout routine, you probably realize that if you have to invent your new workouts, it's not going to work very well for you, right? Conversely, if you've already had everything pre-planned, all you need to do is follow those steps. It works. And that's what happened for me. And as a result, I ended up carrying out those activities on a regular basis, and it has been wonderful. If your brain isn't able to understand what's on your schedule, even though it can rationally say, yes, I know I have to do this, but you don't know exactly what are the steps that need to be done, then you're in a little bit of trouble. So what I suggest is you atomize those things. Edit video? Great. Record. Before record, test. Make sure that the test is great. Make sure your audio, your lighting, all that is fantastic. Then, after you've done the recording, go in. There are certain steps inside, right? Remove the green screen. Edit out the transcripts so that you can have quotations as part of transitions, things like that. So when you think about all of those, there are specific things that can and should be done, and they must be done in a particular sequence. So when you think about it rationally, you'll discover that going through this entire process is more likely to assist you in getting a much clearer sequence of habits. Now, if you don't know what those sequence of habits are, I highly recommend studying neuro-linguistic programming modeling. Why? Because neuro-linguistic modeling is the process of atomizing every single thing in the behavior down to the mind's mental sequences. So do you talk to yourself first, or do you see an image first? All of these are powerful and really something that you ought to use in order to build out your mental blueprints for success. Now, in order for you to really anchor in these habits, you have to utilize what I call the mastery triangle. There are only 3 things that you need to do once you're aware of how to do it, so that you can raise yourself from knowing to being competent. So just knowing how and what to do in one cycle is not going to help you. Repeating is not going to help you unless you repeat with intensity and with intention. So these 3 things will go in a particular sequence. Number 1, you need to set your mind first. So a lot of people talk about setting goals. I talk about setting the mind. And that goes into intention and languaging. What do you want and what do you say to yourself in order to get to where you want to go? So language is so powerful. If I say, I can't edit that video, or that workout's going to be really tough, you've already put a mental barrier in front of you that's causing your emotional states to function against you. Do you really want to do that? In my case, when I take a look at my workout routines, I go like, you know what? I'm going to channel David Goggins, man. I'm going to put myself into that crazy mind frame where I'm just going to go at it with great intensity. And once I'm done, people will tell me that I'm crazy. And just the thought of it kind of feels good. So as a result, the moment that happens, wow, there's a flood of positive emotions. I go repeat whatever exercises I need to do. I don't stop until I'm done. And as a result, I have a certain level of athletic intensity during that period of time to build muscle, to lose weight, etc. Now, the same thing happens if, let's say, you are a budding author. You know, writing is not just good enough. You have to keep writing to completion. And writing to completion is not easy because you've got a lot of negative self-talk, right? Who would want to read this, etc. So you got to remove that and go, what would happen if I completed it? It's going to be awesome. People are going to give me accolades. And you live into that intention and you language it inside your mind. And because of that, your repetitions of writing, chapter by chapter, page by page, paragraph by paragraph, will become easier over time. And as a result, it will galvanize your resources to help you to move forward. So remember that intensity is extremely important, repetition is extremely important, and languaging and intention are extremely important. So always go into your mind, set the mind frame first, and find the beliefs, find the internal dialogue that will support the belief in moving you in the direction that you so choose. Then work with repetition, repeat, and then attempt to shrink the amount of time down to a level that is respectable. You know, if you used, let's say, 1 year to write a book, well, that's okay. See whether you could cut it down to half a year. See whether then after the next round you can repeat it and cut it down to maybe a month or maybe even a week. You know, if you don't set a big, hairy and audacious goal, you'll never know what you're capable of. So I hope that this has been useful in helping you to prime the right kinds of behaviors and habits, because a lot of people have been telling me that they can't set up their new behaviors and their new habits, and I think that's just hogwash. But, you know, who am I to tell you what to do? What I like you to do is give it a shot, you know, see whether it works for you, and if it does work for you, drop me a comment down below. If this is the first time you are on the channel, please hit the subscribe button, and if you found that this was useful, please share it with your friends, family members on your social media profiles so that I can get out into the world and help more people to accomplish the mastery so that they will be able to elevate their mindset and take actions for abundance. In the meanwhile, I'll see you in my next video.